Joining us now is Ojinika Jinix Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinix.
Good morning, Dr.
Good to have you back. We missed you yesterday.
Were you being a busy man or prolific man? Which one were you? Baseball. How are you? Good morning.
I'm great, thank you.
I missed you too. Good, good. Good morning, Rufai.
Hi, good morning, Oji.
Oji, which color is this?
Don't do that to me, Dr. Beige.
No,
I got you there.
What is it?
Beige is brown and cream.
Okay.
This is brown and gray, so it's mushroom.
Mushroom? Why? I have not heard that. Rufai, good morning.
Now you know.
Now we know the color.
I saw you. If I had known Dr. Madi was going to bring it up, I'll give you the expo.
Yes, yes, I
just to tell
trust you.
you.
I
Yeah.
trust you.
So it's
Well,
mushroom.
Yes, it's mushroom.
Yeah.
Now I know. Good morning.
Good morning, Oji.
Well, and good morning to you viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, Colin Talbot, Princess Diana's ex-driver, in an interview with the Daily Mail, disclosed the reason the late princess was in Paris on the night of the infamous car crash, which led to her death and that of Dodi Fayed and their chauffeur, Henry Paul, in 1997. The former driver says anger from the monarchy and government backlash against Diana's call for landmines to be banned convinced the princess to stay in Paris with her boyfriend, Dodi Fayed, longer than she originally planned. And the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, shared rare photographs of the Duke of Cambridge, Prince William, to mark his 39th birthday on social media. In the United States, the granddaughter of late American singer Nina Simone has accused Vice President Kamala Harris of causing her family to lose control of Simone's estate. Kamala Harris, who was California's top prosecutor between 2011 and 2017, led a legal battle against the singer's daughter, Lisa Simone Kelly, who was in charge of her late mother's estate and charitable trust. And baby Richard Scott William Hutchinson, the world's most premature baby, born at 5 months, has celebrated his first birthday despite having 0% odds of surviving. Richard weighed less than a pound when he was born at the Children's Minnesota Hospital in Minneapolis. In Burkina Faso, Hollywood actress Angelina Jolie visited a refugee camp in the country housing refugees fleeing jihadist violence in Mali. The actress praised the country for welcoming the displaced, despite its limited resources and battling its own insurgency.
Today, 1 in 95 people are forcibly displaced. 1% of humanity. And the numbers are rising. The truth is, we are not doing half of what we could and should to find solutions to enable refugees to return home or to support host countries like Burkina Faso.
In Nigeria, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, on Monday, inspected the tallest flagpole in Nigeria, located in Jigawa State. The flagpole, which measures 50 meters high, was installed by Farouk Adamu, a former minority leader in the House of Representatives. Under sports, New Zealand's Laurel Hubbard has become the first ever transgender athlete to compete at any Olympic Games. Laurel previously competed in the men's events before coming out as transgender in 2013. And after qualifying requirements were recently modified, officials selected her for the women's weightlifting team for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Finally, under entertainment, Penguin Press has announced the release of actor Will Smith's memoir called Will. The book, which is set to be released on November 9th, according to the actor, has been a work in progress for 2 years. Well, let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. Following the release of footage of abducted students and staff members of the Federal Government College Birnin Yauri in Kebbi State, Islamic cleric Ahmad Gumi, who has been in the center of negotiations with the bandits, called on the federal government to engage with bandits in order to guarantee security in schools by using them as security personnel. The cleric condemned aerial bombardments of the bandits and said it will only worsen the security situation in the northeastern region. He argued that the bandits are also victims, as 90% of those who are in possession of sophisticated weapons use them to protect themselves against cattle herders. Well, in the meantime, the governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, while commenting on the recent abduction, claimed that most of the bandits terrorizing the country are not Nigerians. Tundu, if you would recall, the governor of Niger State had only in a few hours traveled abroad when that situation happened in his state. They kidnapped about 136 students from his state, and he traveled abroad. Maybe he has intelligence, or he has acquired intelligence to know that most of the bandits that are terrorizing the northeastern region are not Nigerians, even though the president said that they do know that they are Nigerians. But that's besides the point. My issue is with Ahmad Gumi. He keeps on going to the bandits to negotiate on the federal government's behalf. Now, his comment about bandits having to prefer to be security personnel than bandits, making millions of dollars, makes no sense to me. Millions and millions of naira.
Yeah, his Sheikh Gumi is quite consistent as the bandit whisperer / bandit apologist. And his latest suggestion is having the foxes guard the hen house. I don't know how much sense that makes at this point, but I think that people are so desperate, they're listening to everybody. I guess he has his own perspective. I completely disagree with it, frankly. As for the governor of Niger State, he's back with a bang. He was all dressed in his khaki, really like reeling out the marching orders and what have you with a whole group of vigilantes. I just hope all of that is not mere political theater. I just need those children to be released, the Tejina children. It's going on now for weeks and weeks.
Yes,
and
almost a month
we haven't
now.
heard anything. We haven't actually heard anything.
Terrible.
Apart from that, the ransom was reduced at some point. I mean, maybe that's why Sheikh Gumi is throwing out all these other ideas, because nothing else is working.
What is that idea, really? I don't even understand it, Dr. Abati.
Well, first, let me start with the governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello. Yes, you put your finger on it when you said that shortly after the abduction of the students of the Salihu Tanko Islamiyah School in Rafi local government area, Tegina, in Niger State. That was about a month ago. Shortly after that incident, the governor disappeared from the radar. We were told that he was sighted abroad, attending an event and all of that. Although the officials, his subordinates, kept saying that they were in charge of the situation. The secretary to the state government even appeared on this station to say that, look, he was the person in charge of the arrangements and they were collaborating with the federal government. But many people felt that the governor should not have disappeared from the radar, given the very serious challenge his state was facing. Over 42 communities in Niger State having been taken over by bandits. 1 month later, Governor Bello has suddenly shown up. And well, I don't know whether we should thank him or commend him, because 1 month later, he has now visited the affected families to express his commiserations. He has met with security, a combined team of security agents to help rescue the children. 1 month later, that's when the governor of Niger State is suddenly waking up and realizing that he is described as the chief security officer of the state. How about that in terms of showing leadership, in terms of showing responsibility? So I think, other people can analyze that and try to award the grade to Abubakar Bello of Niger State in terms of how he is focusing on the assignment that the people of Niger State have given him, and how he's showing responsiveness and empathy and trying to be responsible as a leader in that state. Now, that said, as for Sheikh Ahmad Gumi, well, I think nobody should be surprised. He's been consistent in saying that the bandits deserve amnesty. He's been consistent in saying that the government of Nigeria should negotiate with bandits. He says that the bandits are victims who themselves need to be helped. He says that there are just about 100,000 of them, and that not all of them even have weapons. And that these are people who have just seen an economic opportunity, an easy way of making money. And that if the government negotiates with them, they will be able to solve the problem. Yes, he's been to the forest around Katsina and other places to meet these bandits directly and listen to them. But what we may be facing with Sheikh Ahmad Gumi may be a problem of what I earlier referred to on this program as the Stockholm syndrome, which is a situation whereby the oppressed, the victim, begins to identify with those who are causing pain, and that may be the issue, because oftentimes we have many examples in history where, as a result of the Stockholm syndrome, you see the oppressed people even defending those who are inflicting pain and punishment on them. The position of the Nigerian government, however, is clear. The government of Nigeria says it will not negotiate with bandits and terrorists. Well, if that remains the position of the government, can the government also step up? If it's going to address criminality, can it do so? If the government has the wherewithal to check criminality and win the war, can it do so? And desist henceforth from giving jollof rice and pepper soup to criminals.
Rufai, these kidnappings have been going on now for months and months and months. And Sheikh Gumi has been in the center of the negotiations. Now, wouldn't you think that the federal government at this time should be using him to capture these bandits instead of just waiting and watching him negotiate?
For how long are we going to be using Sheikh Gumi to negotiate?
No, you should
for how long
to capture
are we
the bandits, is what I'm saying.
For how long are we going to continue this game, this hide and seek we're playing? Who are we negotiating with? Bandits? The same bandits that the governor of Katsina State negotiated with, and they had photo ops, and the next minute the bandits were back at action? The same bandits? How long are we going to keep playing with ourselves and keep continuing this game we play? This nefarious game of Russian roulette we play? How long? This is criminality. Mm-hmm. What you do, you go in there, you end criminality, you bring them to book.
Right.
In the 80s, we had a criminal, Lawrence Omajakpo Anini, that evaded a lot of people, evaded the authority because he had a connivance with a police officer. What did General Babangida do? He told the Inspector General of Police, he said, "Where is Anini? Give me Anini." And in the end, they stopped it. They killed Anini. So what you do is you go in there, you destroy criminals. And Sheikh Gumi should stop this narrative of we need to talk to them. Sheikh Gumi, please. For starters, we are all disadvantaged. I was telling my friends the other day, I said in all my years I've spent in this country, I can't look forward to one thing that the government of this country has given me for free. Only COVID-19 vaccine, the 2 jabs I took. And that's real. I've not gotten any public scholarship in this country. I've not gotten anything. So if the Sheikh is saying people are disadvantaged, me too, I can come out and say I'm disadvantaged. But we can't go ahead and say because we are disadvantaged, we kill other people. It is wrong. It's a criminal act. So stop trying to make that narrative like, it's, what is it called? It's like the Niger Delta militants. Because I've heard that narrative too much, and that's not the problem. These people are criminals. You keep saying negotiate with, what did the Katsina State government do before? Didn't they negotiate with the bandits? Didn't the bandits start the attack even after the photo ops? What have the governors been doing all this while? Has it not been negotiations? So why can't the bandits too look and say, okay, let's have a break, guys. This is not good. But we don't see that, and you say we keep negotiating with that. That's also, how long are we going to continue this game of Russian roulette? How long?
Well, that's a good question. Let's take another story. Some members of staff of Heritage Bank, in a video now circulating online, besieged the residence of former senator from Anambra State, Andy Uba. Well, according to the protesters, the former senator collected all manner of loans from the bank, which is impacting the ability of the institution to fulfill its obligations to depositors. Let's take a look at the video before we come back for a discussion.
Senator Andy Uba has been owing the bank for a couple of years now. And we're here for a peaceful meeting with him, very peaceful meeting, to ask him to kindly repay those loans because those are depositors' funds. And those monies, if they are not repaid, we throw the number of people you see here with their families out of work, and we know the situation of the economy now. So if this number of people are thrown out of work, you know what it means. So we're here to appeal to him, the distinguished senator, to kindly pay this money so that these people will not lose their job. And of course, the bank becomes a going concern. Thank you very much.
Otundu, I guess this is a method they're using to embarrass the former senator to pay his loans. But there are so many questions here. And the first one, which is, how did he get the loans in the first place if he couldn't pay?
Well, this is the thing. They're trying to shame him into paying, but that's not a novel idea. I've received text messages. Have you? Just somebody on your contact list. Such and such person is owing money, get them to pay. People put other people on blast on social media, and now we have picketing. Now to your question, I don't see why the staff is being made to do the dirty work. The MD should be there. If anybody's going to carry a placard, it should be the MD, because whatever failure has occurred, whether in diligence or in something else, it's down to the managing director of the bank, and that's who's responsible to the board for avoidable losses. He has to account to the board for that. He should be there, not the staff. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about it. But for me, in terms of civility, in terms of optics, this is ugly. It looks bad for the former senator. It looks bad for the bank.
Yes.
And we have laws in this country. We all talk about, oh, the government this, the government that. But how do we, everyday Nigerians, conduct ourselves? Speaking of everyday Nigerians, they don't get loans from banks now, do they? And if at all they ever default, they're not going to be treated as nicely as so-called important people in society are. I'm sure there were so many phone calls, so many text messages. I'm sure they have begged and pleaded with the former senator before it escalated to this. Your ordinary Nigerian does not get that grace. But I digress. Now we have laws in this country, although we like to act like we don't. Banking and Other Financial Institutions Act of 2020, yes. Section 102, create a credit tribunal. What's wrong with that? Even last year, I remember on this show, we were having arguments on this show, discussions about the new initiative from banks that if a defaulting borrower has an account in another bank, you can access that person's money. So there were issues of privity of contract and whether their rights have been infringed. There are other routes than this. It's undignified.
I agree with you, Dr.
Okay,
Martin.
this is a very novel approach to securing of debts by financial institutions. And I guess many Nigerians will be shocked that we now have a situation whereby bank staff will say, well, we don't want to lose our jobs, our families will be affected, and they will go to the home of an alleged debtor and carry placards and say this is peaceful. There's no way in which that was peaceful.
No.
Because they were picketing the home of a bank customer. Is that what the rules say? Now, I guess if you want to take a loan from a bank, you provide collaterals. The loans will be secured. Is it that in this particular case, the loans were unsecured?
That's the question.
Were the loans alleged? Were they given without collaterals? A bank also has the option of taking a defaulting customer, or debtor to the courts. Now, why did they not consider that option? What the Heritage Bank staff have done amounts to a resort to self-help. 3, is the management of the bank aware of it? In one report, the bank said they were not aware of it, and this was just the staff doing this. Now, if they're not aware of it, this is to what effect? The other leg of it is that recently the Senate passed a bill empowering AMCON, the Asset Management Company of Nigeria, to go after assets that they can locate of people owing the banks who are debtors, and then take control, seize control of those assets. Many years back, we got to know that many of the people who put themselves out, and that's the popular side of the analysis, as billionaires in Nigeria, are actually debtors. People who are doing big men on other people's money and who are not willing to pay back. So, OG, some of these your so-called billionaires, they are really debtors.
Which billionaires? I don't even know what is. Well, you mean the ones on Forbes?
Well, I'm just talking generally. However, by resorting to self-help, yes, Senator Andy Uba will have been, has been thoroughly embarrassed. He wants to run for governor in Anambra State. This may damage his political fortunes.
Absolutely.
But this is a contractual relationship. Right. And I think the way the bank has gone about it, and I think that's the reason why the bank is saying it has no hands in it.
Of course, it's embarrassing.
Senator Andy Uba is in a position to sue the bank for resorting to blackmail and, unusual tactics in order to recover debt. And if he goes to court and he presses charges against the court, he may be able to win against the bank and those people who have gone out there to embarrass him. The real fear among the billionaires is that if the bank, Heritage Bank, gets away with this, then no billionaire is safe again. Because it could become something that other bank staff may imitate.
Placards in front of their house.
In that regard, we may see more dramas. We may see more dramas
Can you imagine
of
that?
this type. So billionaires beware. If you borrow money,
beware.
make sure you pay.
I love it.
Otherwise, the NSAS protesters will join bank staff to come and carry placards.
Only with the MDs.
If you borrow, you pay.
MDs must go there too.
Rufai, I'll take our final story so you can comment on that. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has accused Nigerian youth of not taking active roles in the nation's politics. While speaking at the maiden Progressive Youth Conference in Abuja on Monday, the vice president said the few young people who are interested in governance have constrained themselves to agitations on social media or have formed pressure groups to criticize the government. The vice president, while admitting that social media activism is not necessarily a bad thing, however, said it will not bring the youth into positions where they can positively influence how the government operates, while some Nigerians have shared opposing views. Let's take a comment from Albert Ogunde, who wrote, "Please, sir, with due respect, I ask this question, were the youth given a voice to speak? Because if we dare try to speak our truth and do right by all, we get killed for it. Please, sir, when would the youth be allowed to have a press conference with you and the president addressing us one-on-one as we ask questions and you provide adequate answers? Likewise, the president. Instead of the government actions leading to a youthful protest, we have youth who are loyal and honest to a just cause for this country." Rufai, your comment on this story.
I mean, those are pertinent questions. Your Excellency, Professor Osinbajo, I'd like to disagree with you, sir. The truth has to be said. Young people are not given the chance in this country. In fact, it even starts with the way people see young people. I mean, it is in this country, same on Arise TV, that somebody came and called a 47-year-old man, Sunday Igboho, a boy. Yes. So that's to show you the perspective of how people see young people in this country.
Right.
Same in this country, young people have to fight to pass a not too young to run bill. They say young people are not participating in politics. What are the political parties? What have they done? In England, there's a university conservative party. The guys that became prime minister in England, the likes of David Cameron, Boris Johnson, they were first members of the Conservative Party in their university. And they rose across the ranks to become prime ministers. But what is that structure? Do we even have a youth league of our major political parties in our university? Do we even allow the young people make presentations and conversations? Wouldn't you call them children? When the young people went on the street in Lagos and other parts of the country, and all they asked for was end police brutality.
Right.
What did you call them? You called them idiots. You told them to get off the streets. And you harassed them. So when the young people are speaking, the echo chamber at which they speak, Twitter, you blocked it. He said, don't talk. So we've seen this over and over again. Anytime the young people want to talk, you shut them down. And I think one of the biggest problems in Nigeria is a disconnect. And it's the fact that we have a political class in its 60s and 70s running a country that is largely dominated by 17 and 18-year-olds. A lot of people in the political class don't know that Nigeria is a young country. Very young country. That the median age in this country is about 18, 19 years of age. That's an average Nigerian. And you're in your 70s. So there's a disconnect across the class. When the young people are speaking, because you don't understand them, the next thing you say is they are not participating in politics. But how much were they going to participate? But they went on Twitter. They went on the streets. They said they wanted an end to police brutality.
And they achieved that.
They achieved that. They made their demands.
Yes,
but now you are saying they are not participating. They should start by giving us a 40 or 30-year-old as a presidential candidate in the APC before they know that young people are ready. Right. They need to fix this disconnect. Nigeria has a youth bulge, and it's a ticking time bomb if we don't do something about it.
Very well said, Rufai.
Yes, I think the Vice President made very encouraging statements to the youth. He specifically said that he doesn't ascribe to that thinking, that there's a generational queue, as he put it, and you have to wait till the elders are gone before the youth can take over. He was saying they should take over now. He was actually quite encouraging. I think those comments should be taken in the proper context. And he also made another point about how with Nigeria, should never break up because our size is our power, which I agree with, but it's conditional, isn't it? Nigeria not breaking up and our size being our power is all very well and good as long as everybody is respected. And that's ethnic minorities, that's youth, that's women, that's every single demographic should be made to feel like they have a seat at the table.
But also they have to realize that some of the reasons that youth don't engage in these types of political activities is because they do not believe in the voting process as well. So, I mean, there's so many things.
Because for me, this conference was excellent.
It was great.
The youth came out in full force and they made their demands, and those demands were logical, they were sensible, they were practicable, and it actually gave me some hope for the future of this country. The youth are taking over.
I also think that the vice president was spot on. There was nothing that he said that was out of place. Look at the context. It was a progressive youth conference of the youth wing of the APC, and it was saying that Nigerian youths should take advantage of their population. They are in the majority. They should move from agitation to getting involved. And I think that that's a point that you cannot argue against. The youths themselves having asked for a reduction of the age of eligibility. The only thing that the vice president did not say is that we need to recognize the efforts of certain youths who took part in the 2019 general elections. Well, he said at the time he was 47. There's a guy called Bukunyi, Olateru Olagbegi. He founded a political party, Modern Democratic Party, Bankole Wellington, Banky W. He ran for a legislative position on the platform of that party.
Yes.
You also had the YPP presidential candidate, Kingsley Moghalu. The whole import of the president's message is that rather than keep protesting and agitating, get involved. You too can make a difference. In Finland, the average age of most of the top people running that country at the moment is just about 34. Awolowo and all the leaders in the past, Akintola and even the generals, nobody was up to 36 at the time they made significant impact. But thank you very much.
Nobody gives you
Thank you very much.
power.
We've got to go now.
Power, you take it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.